Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Venezuela says it arrested 6 foreigners allegedly involved in a plot to kill President Maduro. Let's jump into it. Follow along.
You're watching dcbornrob, Erasing Borders. And now, the news.
Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching dcbornrob, Erasing Borders. I'm DC Rob. This is just going to be a quick one. There's 2 stories. The first one's about 3 minutes. The second one's about 2 minutes, and it has to do with those involved in the plot to kill President Maduro. Let's jump into it right away. Bogota, Colombia. 3 Americans, 2 Spaniards, and a Czech citizen were arrested Saturday after Venezuelan officials accused them of coming to the South American country to assassinate President Nicolás Maduro. The arrests were announced on state television by Diosdado Cabello, the nation's powerful interior minister. Cabello stated that foreign citizens were part of a CIA-led plot to overthrow the Venezuelan government and kill several members of its leadership. In the television program, Cabello showed images of rifles that he said were confiscated from some of the plotters of the alleged plan. The arrest of the American citizens included a member of the Navy who Cabello identified as Wilbert Joseph Castañeda Gomez. Cabello says that Gomez was a Navy SEAL who had served in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Colombia. Spain's embassy in Venezuela did not reply to a request for comment on the arrest of its citizens. The U.S. State Department late Saturday confirmed the detention of a U.S. military member and said it was aware of unconfirmed reports of 2 additional U.S. citizens detained in Venezuela. Any claims of U.S. involvement in a plot to overthrow Maduro are categorically false. The United States continues to support a democratic solution to the political crisis in Venezuela, the statement said. The announcement of the arrest comes just 2 days after the U.S. Treasury imposed sanctions on all 16 allies of Maduro, who were accused by the United States government of obstructing voting during the disputed July 28th Venezuelan presidential election and carrying out human rights abuses. Earlier this week, Spain's parliament recognized opposition candidate Edmundo González as the winner of the election, angering Maduro allies who called on the Venezuelan government to suspend commercial and diplomatic relations with Spain. Tensions between Venezuela's government and the United States have increased as well following the election, whose results sparked protests within Venezuela in which hundreds of opposition activists were arrested. Venezuela's Electoral Council, which is closely aligned with the Maduro administration, said Maduro won the election with 52% of the vote, but did not provide a detailed breakdown of the result. Opposition activists, however, surprised the government by collecting tally sheets from 80% of the nation's voting machines. The tally sheets collected by the opposition were published online, and they indicate that González won the election with twice as many votes as Maduro. Despite the international condemnation over the election's lack of transparency, Venezuela's Supreme Court, which has long backed Maduro, confirmed his victory in August. Venezuela's Attorney General then filed conspiracy charges against González, who fled to Spain last week after it became clear he would be arrested. Maduro has dismissed requests from several countries, including the leftist governments of Colombia and Brazil, to provide tally sheets that prove he won the election. Maduro, who has been in power since 2013, has long claimed the U.S. is trying to overthrow him through sanctions and covert operations. The Maduro administration has previously used Americans imprisoned in Venezuela to gain concessions from the United States government. In a deal conducted last year with the Biden administration, Maduro released 10 Americans and a fugitive wanted by the United States government to secure a presidential pardon for Alex Saab, a close Maduro ally who was held in Florida on money laundering charges. According to the U.S. prosecutors, Saab had also helped Maduro to avoid U.S. Treasury sanctions through a complex network of shell companies. So there you go. It looks like, you can think what you want. I'm going to keep a tight lip. I have one statement I want to make at the end. Let's jump into this next story, because the next story has to do with, is the U.S. involved, or was the U.S. involved in a possible assassination attempt against Maduro? The U.S. State Department has categorically denied accusations of CIA involvement in the alleged plot to assassinate Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro. This follows the arrest of 6 foreigners, including a U.S. Navy SEAL, by Venezuelan authorities. What happened? The United States dismissed the allegations as categorically false. The United States continues to push for a democratic resolution to Venezuela's ongoing political crisis, CNN reported on Monday. Venezuela has previously announced the arrest of 6 individuals, accusing them of involvement in a plot to destabilize the country, which has been in political chaos since disputed elections earlier this year. Venezuelan Interior Ministry Diosdado Cabello claimed that the alleged plot was a CIA scheme aimed at assassinating Maduro. The arrest occurred amidst a refusal by Venezuelans' opposition, several Latin American leaders, and the United States to recognize Maduro's contested election victory, leading to deadly protests and thousands of arrests. Why it matters? The United States has been actively involved in Venezuelan politics with efforts to resolve the political crisis. In August, the U.S. reportedly offered amnesty to Maduro if he stepped down from his position. This was part of a broader effort to persuade Maduro to leave office before his term ends in January. Following the contested re-election of Maduro in July, the United States was reportedly preparing to impose new sanctions on Venezuelan government officials. The proposed sanctions targeted key figures who allegedly collaborated with Maduro to manipulate the July 28th vote. So there you go. You can think what you want. You know the history of Well, hopefully you know the history of this country. But let me ask you one question. Let me leave you with this one question, okay? Has the U.S. ever been involved in a coup or an attempted or an assassination of another head of state, of a foreign head of state? Have they ever? Okay, ask yourself that question. And then ask another question. Did they readily admit it? Have they ever admitted it? Anyway, you're up to date with the latest news out of South America, this time Venezuelan. This is the international news for this week. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to travel, but travel safe. Okay, hold on, guys. Right quick. If you need to have things shipped to Colombia, shipped to someone else, or shipped to yourself to Colombia from the United States, make sure you reach out to CaribbeanShipper.com. CaribbeanShipper.com. The contact information is coming next. Join me on social media. I am dcbornrob official on Instagram. I am dcbornrob official 1 on TikTok. I am dcbornrob O on Twitter. Don't be like this guy right here.
You're just so stupid. I had to send you a video to let you know you're so stupid.
That's right. Don't be like this guy right here. Join me on social media. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below. If you're in Medellin and you need dental work done, from a basic cleaning to major reconstructive surgery, come see my guy, Dr. Carlos Maury. Contact information in the description below.
Thanks for hitting like. You did the right thing by hitting like. Thanks for hitting like. Thanks for hitting like. DC Born Rob.